What's going on, everybody? Icon here going over Supergirl and Batwoman episodes 18 and 19, respectively. And next week is the season finale for both shows, which means Batgirl will stop at 20. Meanwhile, Supergirl, just like The Flash, will stop at 19. So let's get right into it, talk about both shows, and start off with a little Supergirl. So for Supergirl this week, and again, this is the second to last episode for Supergirl as well. Next week, the season finale. It starts off with Lex talking to Brainy. He's, because in the last episode, Lex was in the Fortress of Solitude, and he took something from the fortress that was never spoken about. And he gift wrapped it and he gave it to Leviathan. Leviathan, like the head woman of Leviathan, because remember the bald dude who was creating like the earthquakes and all that other stuff. She goes over to him and she's just like, I just got a package from Lex Luthor, and he's gonna help us out with our plans. But she was like, in order for us to use this gift that Lex gave us, we need something, and here's your chance to redeem yourself. I need you to go get it. So so now Lex is talking to Brainy, and Brainy's just like, what you're doing. Because Brainy's like, yo, bro, like I'm a 12th level intellect. I know what you're doing. He's like, I know you have your hand in everything. I know that you're creating, you're creating these chaoses and you're working for Leviathan. And then he was just like, yes, it's all a part of the plan, Director Shaw. And then he was just like, yeah, but what you're doing is going to hurt my friends. And then he was just like, stay out of it. He's like, because unfortunately, in order to save the world, sacrifices must be made. And if your friends just happen to be the collateral damage, then so be it. Because Lex won't give a damn about killing the super. So now the bald dude, he ends up like destroying some random place in Oregon. So Supergirl, Jean, Miss Martian, and Dreamer, because Miss Martian, she's still here, thankfully. So the four of them, they go down, and they go down and try to stop the dude. They fight him, they end up knocking him out, which I thought was very odd, because I'm like, doesn't this dude have like powers? Like he has like mystical, like some of the strongest powers, and they took him down relatively easy. The DEO got word of his whereabouts, and then the DEO went down there to assist. So they slapped the metahuman cuffs on him, and I'm just like, those shouldn't work on him. I was like, these metahuman cuffs shouldn't work on this guy. And then Magan and Jean, they ended up infusing into the earth to stop the earthquake. So the earthquake stopped, the guy's in custody. Dreamer, Kara, and Brainy, they get into it because, because Brainy, when they had him captured, when the DEO showed up, Brainy was like, yo, I'm taking him. And then Dreamer was like, but we're the ones that caught him. And he was just like, yeah, but he's first priority DEO business. So then they was just like, all right, you can take him to the DEO, but we're coming with you. So then they were going to interrogate him, but then Brainy was like, I'm going to interrogate him. You two are going to stand behind the glass and watch. And then they're just like, bro, like, she was just like, how you shut? She's like, I thought, like Dreamer was like, I thought we were cool. How are you going to shut us out like that? And he was like, first of all, when y'all found his location, you didn't call me. So who's shutting who out here? He's like, you should be lucky I let your ass in the building. So he goes into the interrogation room. Dreamer and Kara are looking. They're watching the interrogation on the other side of the glass. The guy's talking to him, and then all of a sudden Brainy starts talking to him in his language that the other two couldn't understand. And when he was talking to the dude, he told him, he was just like, listen, tell me what's going on, because he's like, I know you're working with Lex Luthor. He was like, hell, I'm working with Lex Luthor. He's like, we're all on the same team, so just tell me what the deal is. And then then the guy was like, well, what are you going to do for me? And then Brainy was like, I can get you out of here. He's like, you're locked up. He's like, I can get you out. And then the guy was like, why would I want you to, he said, why do I want to escape when the whole purpose of me getting captured was to be in the DEO? So then Brainy realized, like, oh snap, it's a trap. So the guy ends up calling his staff, because he had his staff with him the whole time, because Dreamer picked up on it. When they had his staff in custody, his staff was scanning the DEO looking for something. He found it, he bust through the cuffs, took his staff, went to like the main floor of the DEO, and then now he's destroying the entire building. Supergirl shows up to fight him. Dreamer shows up to fight him. Magan and Jean show up to fight him. Magan almost died. Dreamer almost died. And then the guy ended up, like, he used his staff to yank all the kryptonite that existed in the DEO. He brought it to him, like, right in front of him. And at first, I was just like, I could have sworn Jean said to Superman in season 2 that the DEO got rid of all its kryptonite. But then I thought about it, I was like, yeah, well, that was the old Earth, and on the new Earth, Lex Luthor has been running the DEO, so of course there's kryptonite at the DEO. So he got that. That's how the Leviathan dude knew there was kryptonite there to begin with, because Lex told him. He was just like, yo, there's kryptonite there. So the guy went, he got the kryptonite. It was like a shitload of kryptonite too. It was like a lot of kryptonite. He got all the kryptonite together, and then So then once the kryptonite showed up, Supergirl was weak and like she hit the floor, because she couldn't move. And then the guy basically flat out blew up the DEO. So the DEO no longer exists. The building came crumbling down, and now every single member of Supergirl is now an independent contractor, and they're no longer affiliated with a government organization. So the DEO was destroyed. Dreamer ends up talking to Brainy, and then she was just like, she said, because Dreamer said that when you were talking to him in that native tongue, she was like, I couldn't understand your language, but I heard you say Lex Luthor. So she was like, what does Lex have to do with this? And then Brainy was like, I can't tell you. And then she was just like, well, you can't play both sides. She's like, you can't push us away one second and then try to be our friend the next. So she was just like, yo, if you can't tell me the truth, I'm out. And Dreamer dipped. So now Supergirl and them, like, they're trying to figure out, like, what's the next steps? Like, how are we going to stop Leviathan? Like, how are we going to stop Leviathan now? Alex and Kara, they were investigating the whole Leviathan situation. They were talking to this guy that Kelly knew, and he was supposed to help them decipher like ancient texts and decipher the Leviathan code. They brought the guy all the papers that they had, pictures, anything related to Leviathan, so they could find out where Leviathan is. While Alex and this guy were looking into Leviathan, somebody tried to kill him. So word got around real quick that they were investigating Leviathan, and then that person, they almost got killed. So they ended up getting away, and then the guy's family went into hiding because he's like, now people are after me. And then Alex was struggling because she was just like, yo, I don't know what to do. She was talking to Kelly, and then she was just like, yeah, the DO's destroyed now. She was just like, all my leads for Leviathan went up in smoke. She's like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do now. And then Kelly told her, she was just like, well, if you're going to go out there still pursuing this, and you're going to be a vigilante, she was like, you might as well wear a mask. And then she started laughing. She was like, wear a mask. And she was like, well, James wore a mask when he was Guardian. So Alex is about to become a superhero. And now that I look back on her like being Supergirl in the virtual reality, I'm like, were they secretly like subliminally putting the thought into our mind of Alex being a superhero? So, but I don't think she'll be any hero from the comic book. She'll probably just be something like brand new and something made up. Guardian was in the Guardians of the actual cap. But I'm very interested because, like I said, like Alex was basically already there. Like she had the suit that Wynn made her that allowed her to, with the guns and everything. Kelly was right. All she was missing is a mask. And I hope she doesn't get like the helmet that Diggle got. Like get this girl like a hoodie and like a mask or something. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Lex and Lena. Something had happened because remember, like back like in earlier episodes where Lena went to a prison, and she basically erased all the anger and hatred from all the emotions of the prisoners, which made the prisoners happy and friendly towards each other. 3 of them were in an elevator, and the elevator got stuck. One of them, who was claustrophobic, because his claustrophobia kicked in, his natural instinct to protect himself kicked in, and he broke the programming and he started wigging out. And because of that, he was now angry and he was now aggressive. And because he was aggressive towards people, then their defense mechanisms kicked in, self-preservation, and they started being angry. So now the entire prison is angry. Lena and Lex went down there to try to figure out what happened. They were trying to solve the situation, trying to get everybody back online, and it wasn't working. So finally, like in order for them to fix everything, in order for them to stop everybody from being crazy, they had to basically like deprogram them. So Lena did her thing. She used her Q-wave machine to send like a mass wave out that knocked everybody out. And unfortunately, it defaulted them back to the people that they used to be. So Lena was upset because she was just like, I failed. She was like, I just wanted to cure humanity. And then Lex was like, you can't cure humanity. He's like, you have to control them. So he was just like, take my hand and take my place, and you and I will be the kings and queens of the world. And then that's when Lena hit. She was just like, you're a monster. And she was like, you've planned this all along. You've manipulated me to do your dirty work. And then he went from like 0 to, this was even before she called him a monster. She was just like, you're behind it all. He's like, of course I'm behind it all. And he was like screaming in her face, and I was like, geez. And I think and I'm surprised, like when he went through that whole like rant, I thought he was gonna say to her, I've done nothing but, break my back for your silly dreams, and you're still befriending the Kryptonian, because, he mad that that her and Supergirl was kind of like because she gave condolences for Jeremiah, like he's mad at that, but he didn't bring that up, which I thought was pretty funny. And then after he screamed at her, she was just like, I'm not going to be a monster with you, and then she dipped. So now she's off the reservation. So then with the DEO destroyed, Lex basically burned the entire prison that had all those people in it, because Lex got what he wanted. The whole device thing about, everyone's anger like coming out, that was part of his plan. Giving Leviathan whatever that device was from the Fortress of Solitude, getting the kryptonite, like all that was part of Lex's plan. And he told Brainy that, because like him and Brainy met up, and he was just like, yo, the plan worked. He was like, Leviathan got everything that they wanted, and because I helped give Leviathan what they wanted, they're now going to give me a seat at the table. So in the next episode, Lex is actually going to, I guess, meet like the emperors of Leviathan, and he's going to be Team Leviathan, but Brainy's coming with him. So that'll be extremely interesting. Kelly and William, they were investigating like the mole within Obsidian, who was helping like Lex and Leviathan this whole time. They pulled up Eve Tessmacher's name. They went to Andre, and they was like, yo, this chick can't be trusted. But unfortunately, on the new Earth, there's no record of Eve Tessmacher being a bad guy. So to Andrea, she was a model citizen. And then she told Kelly, she was like, look, bitch, if you come to me one more time trying to stop this Obsidian launch, like, I'm gonna bust your ass. so now Kelly's just like, yeah, I got it. She's like, I got to investigate this on the low. William didn't listen. William ended up following Eve Tessmacher. Eve found out, and then Eve rolled up on him. So now William's been captured. Brainy and Lex are on their way to go meet Leviathan. Supergirl took that loss. She took that L and went home. And Magan and John are trying to figure out their relationship, because they were just like, the last time you were going through some stuff, I was going through some stuff, but now we're both in a better place. They ended up making out, and I hope she stays on the show. Like, I actually do hope she stays on the show going forward, because she doesn't need to be on Mars anymore, because she said that his brother is sparking the revolution, and Peace is now returning. So if Peace is returning, and her brother is basically the big shot that's making it happen, Magan don't need to go back to Mars no time soon. So I hope she sticks around even going into next season. And then in the final scene, Lena basically came to Kara with her tail tucked between her legs. She was like, I messed up. She was like, Lex manipulated me from day one, and I just wanted to do good, and I've done evil. So she was just like, Lex is going to do something, and he's going to use Obsidian to kill millions. And she was like, I need you to believe it. And, and Kara, like, she was crying. Like, first of all, that woman is too fine for you not to feel bad for her when she started crying. And then when, like after she was like, I don't expect you to forgive me, but she was just like, I want to help stop Leviathan. And then Kara had like the mean mug on her face, and she pulled out a chair, and she told her, she was like, sit down, let's talk about it. I'm like, you better give that woman a hug. Like, she should have gave her a hug, or told her, like, that was her moment. Like, that was Kara's moment to mend that fence. Because Kara even said earlier in the episode, she was just like, I'm upset because Lena and I are beefing. I was like, that was your moment to kill her. Because if she would have just hugged Lena, all would have been forgiven on both sides. Because it's a Supergirl. Supergirl going to forgive her. But now Lena has the attitude of, I messed up. I was an adult about it. I apologize. I came to Supergirl for help. But she still has a wall up. So I still got to break through that wall. If Kara would have gave that girl a hug, it would have been all gravy, but who knows? But who knows what's going to happen. So Lena basically told Kara everything, and now that Kara has all that information, hopefully now they can stop Leviathan in the next episode, which is the season finale. But thanks to Lex, Leviathan now has this weapon they can use to kill Supergirl. So we'll see what happens. So this is getting very good. I am very upset that it's ending next week, because we were cheated out of 3 episodes, and just like with The Flash, certain things are going to get taken out, other things are going to get added in next season. Because like there's let's say like there's 20% of the story. We're probably going to get 5% of it now to end the season, and then they'll probably give us 10% of it going into the next season, and then the final 5% will just be like left on the cutting room floor, and then one day, at a Comic-Con interview, we'll find out all the stuff they didn't get a chance to do because they were forced to end the season early. So for Batwoman, the episode starts where, because when we left the last episode, Kate had got she had got Luke's book stolen from her. So she tracked down she tracked down Regan. She kicked down, she bust through her door, and then she was just like, "Where's the book?" And then She told her, she was just like, I gave it to my sister. My sister's Magpie. She's like, Kate, I really did love you. She's like, I ain't got time for that. Where's the book? And then she was like, I don't know. She said, I gave it to my sister, and she traded it at Arkham. No, she traded it for her freedom to Arkham. And Kate thought that was weird. And then, like Regan had said, she was just like, like, this is why she said that although I've been working with my sister, I don't ask questions for reasons like this, because she said, you're the second person that rolled up on me asking about the book. And then she was just like, who was the first? Julia had rolled up on her earlier, put a knife to her throat, and tried to get the book out of her, which I thought was which Kate thought was weird. Like, like I was just like, but we saw in the last episode, like, Julie was actually on the phone with somebody regarding the book, so she tried to get the sneak on her and get the book before Kate did. So Kate, she goes to Julia, and then she's just like, bitch, you's lying. And then Julia's like, how could you think I'm lying? And then she was just like, because Julia was like, oh, so now all of a sudden, because that one girl basically slept with you and pulled the wool over your eyes, she was like, now everyone's a suspect. And she was like, no, bitch, only people that lie to me, and you're on the list of people who lied to me. So, so they're going a little back and forth. Sophie shows up, and then, so now it's like awkward for everybody. And then, Kate leaves. So now we're back at so Kate goes back to the building, to the office building. She's talking to Luke, and she's just like, yo, something's up with Julia. Now, because Luke and Julia grew up together, Luke's not really trying to hear that. Luke is just like, Julia's my people, like, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. And then Kate was just like, you're gonna take her word over mine. And then he was just like, first of all, it's okay for me to disagree with you. Second of all, it's like, I ain't taking sides. I'm just saying that Julia has my trust, like I said, because I've known her since day one. So, the two of them get into it, and then Kate tells Luke, she was just like, you know what, if you don't like how I do things, no one's making you stay here. And he was like, you're right. And then Luke just flat out left. And when Luke left, I thought that was funny, because I'm like, technically, you're the one that runs Wayne Tower. Like, Kate isn't the one that runs Wayne Tower. I'm like, Luke is the one that actually, like, runs this whole thing. And then I'm like, the building's owned by Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne allows Luke to, to like he gave Luke permission to run the operation, to run the building, to keep the building going. So I'm just like, first of all, Kate can't tell him to leave, but Luke still left, so it is what it is. So now that Luke's gone, he mad. He ended up doing his own little investigation to find out if Kate was telling the truth about Julia. Mary and Kate, they're now trying to figure out, how to find Hush, because early in the episode, Hush rolled up on this one dude, brought him back to Arkham. They were electrocuting them because the guy was basically a code breaker, and they needed him to try to, like, break the code of Lucius Fox's book. The guy couldn't figure it out, so Hush went after the next person, tried to get a second code breaker. Because the thing is, Alice took his face off. She faked his death, and she was supposed to give him a new face. She never gave him the new face because she was just like, I'll give you the new face once you find somebody who can decipher, the Lucius Fox text. So she's holding his face against him. So because of that, he has to wear the bandages, and that's how he became Hush. So he rolls up on the second dude, and then the second guy, like he was getting, and then that's another thing, because Alice's whole thing was, she was just like, let's just go get Luke Fox, because that's Lucius's son, and Luke can break the code. But Mouse was just like, nah, because if we was like, because Mouse knows Kate's Batwoman, he knows that Luke works with her, whatever. Mouse's whole thing is, if you go get Luke, that's going to bring Kate here. And if you bring the Kate here, you bring Batwoman here. And if you bring Batwoman here, you're going to ruin this whole thing that we got going on. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting 3 meals a day, a soft bed and a hot shower. I ain't trying to get his shit up. So Mouse wants to stay in Arkham. He was just like, yo, like, don't bring any unwanted attention. So Alice is like, fine, try to find me somebody else, and then we won't have to worry about Fox. They go after the second dude, so like they got him at Arkham. And they're giving him the shock treatment. They're zapping him. They're shocking him. He can't decipher the text either, and they kill him. And that was the other problem, because like Alice wasn't giving people enough time to try to decipher the text. Instead, she was just flat out roasting. It was almost like if you couldn't crack it in 20 minutes, then she just electrocuted you. And I'm like, you got to give them a little bit more time than that. So now they're just like, all right, bring me another victim, so we can try to like decipher this text. Mary and Kate they're still at the tower. They're trying to figure out the next victim. So they heard on the police scanner that the second person, they found his body. And Mary knew him because Mary was just like, he was a professor of mine. And they later found out that he had a heart condition and then he had a pacemaker. So then Kate was just like, hey, we can track the pacemaker to find out his last location, just to find out, where they're keeping, where Hush is. So then Mary's like, all right, cool. So you go ahead. And then Kate was like, I don't know how to do that shit, because Luke is the one that usually handles all the technical stuff. So like they both have a good idea, but neither one of them knows how to execute it. So now and then Mary was just like, shouldn't you apologize to Luke? And she was like, fuck Luke. Like she was all like mad. So like I said, so now, without Luke's help, they're they're desperately trying to figure out, how to break into the pacemaker so they can find Hush. Luke finished his investigation. He rolled up on Julie and he was just like, yo, this morning I just yelled at Kate defending you, and now I find out you've been lying to me. You're not a part of the Crows. You're not even supposed to be here. So what's really good? So the two of them go outside. They end up having a conversation, and then Julia's telling him the entire plan of who she is and who she's working for and whatever the situation may be. But we didn't see that conversation. All that happened off camera. So so back at Alice's place in Arkham, now the third code breaker is dead, and Alice is just like, look, we gotta break this thing. You guys gotta find me a code breaker. And then Hush was just like, well, you killed them all. Like, all the code breakers are gone. And then she was just like, well, all the code breakers that you know about are gone. And that brings back Parker. Parker was the girl in an earlier episode of the season. She was like lesbian, and she was, she basically felt, awkward and like out of touch with society because, she couldn't tell her parents and she thought she was a freak. And then that was the girl where Kate was talking to her in the bathroom, and then Batwoman took the thing off and revealed her true identity to her. So because in her episode, she broke into everyone's cell phone and was demanding money from the city. So, and Alice knew that because Alice kidnapped her in that episode and tried to use her to reveal Batwoman's secret to the public. So Alice knows she exists. So she sends Hush to go get Parker. Parker's girlfriend, now, because she was FaceTiming her girlfriend when Hush rolled up on her. So I guess right before Hush like threw her in the back of the van, she told she was yelling to her girlfriend through the phone, call Kate Kane, call Kate Kane. So Parker's girlfriend called Kate. She called her at the Wayne Tower. And she was just like, Parker, she's like, I'm Parker's girlfriend. She got kidnapped by some guy, in bandages and this, that, and the third. So they're just like, oh, snap, that's Hush. So Batwoman's on the job. She puts the suit on, puts on the motorcycle, and she's on her way. She's on her way to, to try to save Parker. Mary's on comms now. She's in the Batcave on the computer. She doesn't know how the computer works. She's breaking everything. And then she done sent Kate up the wrong street. Kate luckily ends up intercepting Hush on his way to Arkham. She stops the truck. She fights Hush, she defeats Hush, and then she gets Parker out of the van. So now Parker, she brings Parker back to Wayne Tower. Parker ends up going into the Batcave because Kate brought her into the Batcave, and then Mary was like, hold up. And Mary was just like, how we just bringing some random teenager into the Batcave? And then Kate was like, it's all good. Like, she already knows I'm Batwoman from like way back. So Parker's just like, wow, like the Batcave. Mary's like, yo, who is this, bro? And it was funny because like Mary was like completely jealous of because Mary was just like, so everybody just know I'm the last one to know the secret. And I'm like, first of all, Sophie still don't know, so you still good. Mary's still good. So so then while Luke was outside talking to Julia, he got a call on his phone from Kate. And then she was just like, where are you? And then he was like, yo, I'm down at the plaza. She was like, yo, stay there. I'll be there in a second. So Luke was just telling her, he was like, yo, you got to tell Kate what's really good. Otherwise, I'm going to tell her. And she's like, you can't tell him, Luke, because you can't tell Kate, Luke, because that's not part, that like you don't know what you're getting into, whatever. And then, and then the phone rings again and it's Kate again. And then Luke was just like, damn, woman, you here already? And then that was actually Kate. And Kate was like, what are you talking about? I never called you. And then Luke was like, oh, snap. And when they both turn around, Hush got the double guns to their head. And then he's just like, yo, come on with me. Because we learned in like earlier episodes, like Mouse has the ability to mimic people's voices as well. So Mouse was the one that called Luke pretending to be Kate. So now Luke and Julia are at Arkham tied up. Julia's tied up in the electrocution machine. They got Luke tied up, and then Alice is like, yo, if you don't decipher that text, I'm gonna burn this chick alive. And then, he was like, I can't decipher the text. I'm not my father. She was like, you better figure it out. So they're cooking Julia. Luke's trying to figure out the text. Julia gave him the speech of, you're just as good as your daddy is. And then Luke actually, he eventually ended up figuring it out. Like, he ended up deciphering the code. So now that Kate, Mary, and Parker are in the Batcave, and Parker is a hacker, like she's a tech genius, they end up, Parker basically substituted for Luke, And they told Parker, they were like, yo, can you use the Bat computer to try to track Homeboy's pacemaker? So Parker was able to do it, and then while she was doing the computer thing, Mary was sniffing through some of Lucius Fox's like old stuff. And then she saw like because Mary ain't got nothing to do. Like she doesn't know the computer thing. So she's just like rummaging through stuff, just being bored. So she found a pair of Lucius Fox's old glasses, and then she looked at them. And then when she looks at the glasses, they had like, some tech stuff, some tech code going through it. So then, Mary's a smart girl. So Mary took the glasses, held them, because Lucius Fox had another book in that box that had the same text in it from the journal. So she put the glasses over the journal, and then words just started to appear. And then she was like, yo, the glasses are able to detect, to decipher the code. And then at that point, Parker, she was like, yo, I found them. They were at Arkham. And then Kate was like, yo, that makes sense because, Regan said that her sister traded it for her freedom. So Alice and Hush and Mouse, they're all in Arkham. They took over Arkham and they got the book. And then, and then Sophie showed up. Sophie came to to Wayne Tower. And then Sophie was just like, have you seen Julia? Like Julia hasn't checked in. And then, Kate was like, oh snap. Because at that point, Kate knew what it was, because she was just like, and then she was just like, yeah, she went to go talk to Luke. And then Kate was like, wait, Luke was with her too? And then she was like, oh snap. Because now she knows, she was like, yo, Luke and Julia got rolled up on by Alice to decipher the code. So, and so then, Kate quickly was just like, yo, so you and Julia are a thing. And then she was just like, not yet, but if it's a problem, I won't do it. And then Kate was like, nah, do you? Because remember Luke in like episode 4 was just like, Batwoman can't have no relationships. So although Sophie can take care of herself. And then it was funny because Parker and Mary were actually listening and watching their whole conversation through the cameras, and they were commentating. And then she was just like, girl, like, you're not supposed to tell her no, you're supposed to go. And then Mary was just like, will you stop being nosy? But Mary was like, hold on, I can't hear. So like that was a pretty funny scene. The two of them are funny together. Like Mary and Parker are funny together. So then Sophie leaves, and then Kate puts on the costume, and she goes flying down, to Arkham. She shows up at Arkham, she busts through the door, and then as soon as she busts through the door, she takes a batarang, throws it at the machine that was electrocuting Julia, and then she blows up the machine. And then after that, Hush took one gun, pointed it at Julia's head, took another gun, pointed at Luke, and then Alice was just like, we about to kill these fools if you don't back off. And I'm just like, that right there shows you the difference between Batwoman and Batman. Because Batman would have kicked in the door, thrown one batarang at the machine, threw another one at Hush to knock him out, and then threw a third one at either Mouse or Alice just to have the advantage. Kate walked in and just threw one batarang, and I'm just like, what is you doing? There's like 5 people in this room. What you doing with one batarang? I'm like, you failed. Like, Kate failed on that one. Kate failed on that one. So they were, so Alice was just like, yo, back up. And then she was just like, I'm here to make a trade. And she was like, these glasses can decipher the Lucius Fox code. I'll give you the glasses if you let them go free. And then Luke was just like, no, because at that point, Luke had deciphered the code, and he knows what's in the book. And he was just like, yo, don't give Alice that shit, And then, he was just like, he's like, lives are at stake, Kate, don't do it. And then she was just like, I'm going to do it. So she gave Alice the glasses. Alice let Luke and Julia go. So Batwoman, she made sure that Luke and Julia got out of the building, and then she was like, yo, I'm going back for Alice. But at this point, the Crows showed up because the Crows had got a tip that Batwoman was in Arkham. So the Crows are going down to Arkham, to bust that ass. And then as soon as the Crows showed up, Beth let all the criminals in Arkham out of their cells, as a distraction, because at this point Beth's like, yo, I'm out. And Mouse wasn't very happy about that, but at this point, like, her cover's blown. Like, Batwoman's in the building, they took over the criminals have now been let out of the cells. The Crows are on their way, so she was just like, yo, let's just cut bait and dip. So Mouse and Alice, they left, and then Kate, she was fighting the criminals in Arkham as best she could. But then when the Crows showed up, she bounced. So this way she didn't get in trouble. She didn't get busted. And now Commander Kane is pissed because he was just like, yo, because he was like between Hush and Batwoman. He was just like, y'all messing up the city. He was just like, yo, it's just a matter of which hooded freak is going to cause more harm first. So now Commander Kane, like Jacob, he mad at everybody. So after that, so everybody got away. Hush got away. Kate goes back to Wayne Tower, and then she's talking to Luke, and Luke was like, you made a bad call. He was like, the millions of people's lives aren't worth my life. And then, Kate gave him a hug, and she was just like, look, there's no Batwoman without Luke Fox. And she said, without you, I struggled all day. I need you. And then he was like, damn right you do. So that was cool. Like, that was cool that the two of them got to share that moment. And then as soon as they said that, Parker comes out of the Batcave, and then Luke looking at her like, who the hell is this random teenager? And then Kate's like, oh, that's Parker. Like, she's cool. And then Parker was like, and Luke was just looking at her like, who are you? Like, it's like, yo, we letting everybody up in here now. Like, you don't let Mary up in the Batcave. You don't let some random teenager up in the. As like, at this point, you might as well just tell Sophie. Like, it's only a matter of time before Sophie find out. And then Parker had said to Kate, she was like, yo, I was listening to your conversation with Sophie. She was like, yo, like, stop playing games and go get that. And and then Parker left. And and Parker's a cool character, and I hope they find a DC character for her to play, because it would be really cool if Parker ended up being Kate's sidekick. I don't know if she could be Spoiler, she can be Arrowette. She can't be 13 because she would need power for that. But there's a bunch of DC female, like, young female sidekick comic book characters. But it'd be really dope if they turned her into like a sidekick character. And Spoiler would actually be my choice if they did that. If they did that for Parker. So after that, Kate ends up going to the Crows to go see Julia. She was like, yo, Luke told me everything. But then when she got there, she saw when she got there, she saw Julia and Sophie making out. So that was awkward. And then Sophie just flat out dipped. She was just like, yo, I'm out. And we didn't get a lot of Sophie in this episode, which was sad. But, so then Kate walked up to Julia. She was like, yo, tell me everything. And then Julia was like, yo, remember the rifle guy that was trying to kill Batwoman with the magic rifle? And then she said she tracked that guy down. She found out who he was working for. And the woman who he was working, because I guess it's a woman, the woman that he was working for, she's not going to stop trying to kill you. Like, her main goal is to try to kill you. And, because Julia cares about her, she made a deal with the woman she was like, listen, if I get you Lucius Fox's journal, will you spare Batwoman's life? So Julia basically, like, she was working for that woman to get the book just to save Kate. But then come to find out, the book contains information on how to kill Kate, so the woman set her up, because once she got the book, she was going to get the info that she needed, and she was going to kill Kate anyway. So Julie was like, well, I've been set up. And then now she's just like, the same people that are coming for you are coming for me. And I guarantee the same people that now have the hit out on Julia and have the hit out on Kate is the same person that killed Alice's Wonderland gang and left that note for Alice talking about, you thought I forgot? So this is the same person, the same character, and all this is connected. So there's going to be a moment where Julia, Alice, Beth, Sophie, everybody going to be fighting together to fight this one particular person. It'd be really dope if it was Lady Shiva. They did say who the girl's name was, but I forgot what the name was. So that was it in that regard. And then it cuts to Alice and Mouse. They're in the sewers. Like, they're in the sewers. Mouse is pissed because he was like, yo, I gave up my nice warm bed for this. And then, Alice, she got the glasses on. She's reading the book. And then she was just like, all right, go find Hush, because he needs to tell me where the hell we can get our hands on some kryptonite. Because apparently kryptonite is the secret to killing Batman and Batwoman and penetrating the Batsuit, which says to me Bruce Wayne probably used some Kryptonian DNA. He probably, like, infused that into his suit. Like, there's probably, like, Kryptonian DNA in the suit that makes the suit, like, indestructible, which makes it, like, impenetrable. So kryptonite's the only thing that can kill the suit. That's my prediction on that. Why they need kryptonite now all of a sudden. But if you need kryptonite, just watch Supergirl, because Leviathan got like 15 pounds, like 100 pounds of kryptonite. And then finally, Jacob Kane, he went on the police station roof, and he had the bat symbol up in the air. Batwoman showed up, and she was just like, what do you need, Commander? And he was like, I need you to get out of my city. And then she was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to protect my city. And he was just like, yo, you're a Cancer. You and the rest of the freaks are a Cancer. And he was like, the next time I see you, it's war. So Jacob Kane is now officially at war with Batwoman. And he ain't taking no prisoners. So now she got to fight off her daddy, and she got to fight off Alice, which means Kate's going to need all the help that she can get, which would be perfect if Parker ended up joining the fold. And Luke gets the Batwing suit. But that was it. Good episode of Batwoman. Damn good episode of Batwoman. I'm glad that Hush is still here. I'm glad they didn't kill him yet. Like, I'm glad Hush is still around. And we will see what happens. Next week is the season finale, and I look forward to seeing what cliffhangers we have in store. So that was it. That was my reviews for both Supergirl and Batwoman. season finale is coming up. The season finale of The Flash is tomorrow. So The Flash is about to be over. Supergirl and Batwoman is about to be over. That's three. Yeah, that's three shows down. Legends is still going on. Stargirl starts next week, and then Agents of Shield starts the week after that. So, like I said, three shows down. We're losing three. We're gaining two. And Legends is still going, so we'll see if Legends gets cut short, if that goes all the way to the end as well. So thank you for tuning in. Leave a comment, like, and or subscribe. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the season finales of both Supergirl and Batwoman, where you think everything's going to go, what's going to get cut out, what's going to stay, and we'll review it, and we'll ride this train to the end, and then we'll pick it back up in the following season, and we'll take it from there. So again, thanks you for watching. Check me out on social media. And until next time, for Supergirl and Batwoman, I'm out this bitch!